when you're only in Chicago for like 2 days, of course, you have to eat while you're here. Duh. Yesterday we had the Chicago pizza. Today we're having Chicago dogs next to the Chicago brachiosaur. I mean, it's what you do. So what goes on a Chicago-style dog? Got tomatoes, pickle, some kind of little peppers in there, onions, mustard. Is that pickle relish also?
No, I don't think so. I think that's your sports pepper. Oh,
No.
maybe a pickle relish. Yep.
What is a sports pepper? This? I assume this? I've never heard that phrase before, or that term before.
That's how it was listed there.
That's what they called it on the thing?
And poppy seed bun.
Yeah, it's good. So, Brachiosaurus, my son Benny's favorite dinosaur, was very tall. About 70, 80 feet long, 40 feet high. Interestingly, here's some random sauropod facts. They walked on their tiptoes. They didn't plant their feet. They had kind of cushiony balls behind their toes, much like elephants did. And these great big gnarly claws on their feet. And Brachiosaurus was one of the few that could lift its head way up in the sky like that. Most of the other ones stuck their heads out like long cranes. These guys were built more like giraffes that way. Really cool. There's a craft beer they have that's made with like actual dinosaur bone.
Let's go have some.
Can we walk around a little bit first?
Yeah.
I mean, we did just walk into the Field Museum.
But there's beer here.
But there's also dinosaurs.
Look how appropriately I'm dressed. Right above my general area.
Look, Sue. Look, Sue. She's wearing her earrings. Oh, look, they put her front arm back on. They'd taken her arm off to do some studies of, like, power and grip and whatnot. God, she's big. What are we doing here? Are we taking a fun one? Here's a fun one. Here we go. Is there anything more beautiful than a fully grown Tyrannosaurus Rex behind my lovely wife? So this is how cool my wife is on our anniversary. She let me pick what we get to do today, so that's why we went to the shed and to come see Sue. And now we're going to go find the Carl Akeley Hall of Mammals, which is not unlike the one at the American Museum of Natural History. Akeley was the taxidermist guy there, and he did he met Teddy Roosevelt when he was in Africa hunting animals for the American Museum of Natural History in New York. And then he got a job here, and he and his wife got those guys, and they taxidermied those. The big one, the bull, Carl Akeley's wife shot that one.
Shot him?
Shot him, yeah. She got the bull elephant.
Like with a gun?
That guy.
She shot him?
How else do you think they got them into the museum? They didn't volunteer.
Well, you can find some already dead ones. I disapprove of shooting elephants for taxidermy.
This was 100 years ago.
I disapprove of shooting elephants
They did
100 years ago.
Much like the American Museum of Natural History, the lights in here are really low, so the videos might not be that great because light degrades organic material that needs to be preserved. So
we don't have to go shoot more elephants.
Right. What did they catch? A boar?
Well, I assume some person shot it, and then
You have to let that go. Are you going to say it?
No.
Oh, look, they shot those little baby fawns so they could stuff them and put them in the museum. Is that what you were about to say?
It's really very sad.
These chital? Yeah, chital deer. I thought they are. This is the axis deer also.
We've seen them.
We have seen them alive and running around Texas.
I don't think they were native.
Look at these, though. I'd like to see these alive and running around Texas.
I'm gonna come see the tiny baby bear cubs somebody shot.
Are they sloth bears?
I don't know. They look like brown bears or something. No, they're in Asia, so probably not.
Pandas are not very big.
You're right, they're sloth bears.
Yeah, sloth bears.
Yeah.
They call them that because they're all really good tree climbers and they have those long
They
claws.
have sloth claws.
Yeah, sloth claws.
Look at that, guys. Oh, do they eat things out of the trees?
Yeah,
Looks like it.
Yeah, he's ripping up a thing for termites and stuff, I think. The leopards. This is a clouded leopard. No, this is a regular old leopard. This is
It's too big to be a cloud leopard.
yeah. There's some pride oak.
There's some snow leopards.
Snow leopards, yeah. Oh, they caught a pheasant. These are so cool.
Poor baby snow leopards.
So, let me tell you a story about this.
I feel less sorry for the hyenas. Oh, look. There's the Brain Scoop diorama. You have a t-shirt.
I can't help kickstart this one.
Nice work. High five.
I helped pay for this one to be built. See this green wall here?
Mm-hmm.
This whole thing was
Made
just,
of your money?
No. It was just blank. There was nothing here, and these guys were in like a small display somewhere, like on the other side of the museum. Emily Grasley of the Brain Scoop raised some money. Well, I was one of them. See the bat-eared fox over there? I don't remember what. Oh, they're a kind of mountain goat. These little takins. Or big takins. There's some cattle egrets. The water buffalo. Hog deer. For some reason, Asia has a lot of wild cattle, and those guars are one of the bigger ones. Like tapirs. We've seen these guys in Texas too. Remember?
Yep.
Little black bucks. See the orange in the forest? They even have the orangutans eating one of their favorite fruits. Durian. Focus. There we go. No, too dark in that one. From the back like that, it really does look like a honey badger.
Mm-hmm.
Which one is that? The ghost, and that's the darkness.
I don't know.
Did you see that movie?
Yeah. Well, no, I know of it. Thus, I hashtagged my Instagram post about them.
The ghost in the darkness. Oh, very good. And they're weird because neither one of them had names.
Mm-hmm. Well, they have like, what do you call those?
What, peach fuzz?
No, mutton chops.
See the hunter rail? Because they attacked the construction of the rail line in Africa. So, according to this display, it says that lions from Savo, which is very hot and dry, male lions there today have very short manes. They think it keeps them cooler. But why did they eat people? They think possibly because of the broken teeth.
East Africa is important to anthropologists because lake sediments down in the rift enclose fossils.
Possibly these brothers were infirm and couldn't catch regular prey, and so humans were easier.
The rifting process often contributes to the formation of
Big critters.
So the Great Rift
That would have been really scary.
Shooting these lions that ate 28 railroad workers seems less morally ambiguous than shooting the baby cheetahs over there.
When these animals were shot 100 years ago, not these, but in the museum, 100 years ago, there wasn't television.
Right.
There wasn't the internet. You
Right.
couldn't go, there weren't zoos like there are today where you could go and see these critters. So
So our human utilization of these particular species doesn't bother you.
what bothers me is people going out there and shooting them now when we don't need to. Back then, when every time these things were shot and brought back, it wasn't like they were brand new species being brought. It was a new way to study and figure out what was out there. Now, these are on display to show us what that kind of diversity is. A lot of these animals are endangered, or some of them are extinct, and we'll never see them again. And the only way to see them is to see these specimens. And to know what was out there and to know what we've lost is to see these specimens like this. Not these.
Or to see
these.
somebody's drawing of them or description of
Not
them.
the same. It's not the same.
I'm not saying it's the same. I'm saying it's less morally ambiguous. That's what I'm saying.
We're just going to have to live in that tension.
Sure.
We know that this is a response to climate because saddle lions transplanted to colder areas were great big manes too.
Take a look at the animals that surround
He said saddle lions transplanted into colder climates grow full manes, so it's just a response to, oh, here's spotted hyenas. Response to the heat. These are super weird. Not heat, I mean the species is super weird, and I'm just gonna leave it at that. The way male and female roles and anatomy have kind of flipped. Yeah, they're unique. Koodoos.
There's a little tiny owl up there.
There is a little tiny owl up there. They are bongos. These are hartebeest. So-called Ugandan cob. Oh, forest hogs. Oh, the sable. Look at the horns. Look at the size of those horns. Remember when we were at the drive-through place and they said they were keeping these things away from the cars because they were aggressive and they were attacking vehicles?
Yep.
They are huge. It's a horse-sized antelope with 5-foot-long curved horns. I mean,
That's what I mean. There's got to be a lot of bone in there supporting those horns.
it's all neck muscle. Look at that.
Right, which means there's almost no room for brain. It's like an ostrich. It's the ostrich of antelopes.
Are we gonna call him Henrietta? Those are giant forest hogs. Look at the size of those things. Look at his tusk. Great.
Except for the tiny babies.
Yes, they're adorably sad. And here's no, these are gnus.
No, they're wildebeests.
They're also called gnus. The way their horns grow. Look, wild ass. That looks like a kick-ass party. Is that the white rhino?
Yeah, he's even more endangered because this one's in here.
Not when this one was collected.
This one looks black.
That is a black rhino. Not just because he's been in the mud either. Look, there's an oxpecker. There's these weird guinea fowl things over here. The expression on this giraffe's face is kind of awesome. Like, oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Mrs. Rhino. Even the zebras look startled. Yeah, it's to keep the beetles out of these things.
Keep what?
Beetles from getting in here and chewing up the mounts.
Mm-hmm. Chewing up what?
The mounts. That's what
The
these are.
mounts. Got it. I thought you said the mouths, and
Not
I
the
couldn't
mouth,
figure out why
no.
they would only want to eat the mouths.
They're only about the size of a whitetail. Maybe a little taller. Or not as tall here, but way longer necked. Those waterbuck? No, oryx.
Oryx.
Gemsbach. The diversity is really kind of incredible. Yep, it is a walrus. They even included his baculum.
His what?
It's a male.
I see that.
He has a baculum.
Got it.
Too cool. That elk. Here's a hippo. The business end. Here's a honey badger. What is this?
I was gonna say, this says extinction looms for all these animals, but then there's a Carolina parakeet up there. But it does clarify.
Look at that weird looking zebra. A mountain zebra. I don't think I've ever seen one looking like that before. It's a fusa. Look at the fusa. And a falanuk. This is another mongoosey thing.
The sifaka.
Yep, diadem sifaka. This must be a common thing, because here we have an American crocodile, and across the way, an American alligator. They had a very similar setup at the reptile hall at the American Museum of Natural History. Here's a nice juxtaposition. Look at the size of this shoe bill
Yep, and the size of the kingfisher.
and the size of the kingfisher. See the kiwi? Oh, we can't see it on here because it's way too dark in there. That's a bummer. Did you know there was a green peacock in addition to the blue one? There are two species. This is the green one. This
I see that.
is bigger than the blue one. These have not adapted to captivity like the blue ones have. Those European storks, white storks,
Yeah.
build their nests on the roofs and the
These are one of
chimneys.
the rare species that have benefited from people being around, apparently.
These are the ones that supposedly bring babies too. Yeah, too.
Yeah.
Oh, Oropendulas. Seeing these guys at the Dallas Aquarium building their nests in the trees. Look at those tail feathers. What are these Araceres?
Yeah, collared araceries.
There's a bigger toucan up there too.
There's a toucan, araceri, a chestnut-colored woodpecker, a western barred, woodhewer.
Oh, there's a wood thrush.
There's a northern wood thrush and a bishop grosbeak.
You'll be happy to know that this is a reproduction in cellulose acetate.
Sounds like a lovely way for us to know what it looked like.
When Darwin was in South America, he referred to these as ostriches, yeah.
No, their eyes aren't big enough, but they have the right shape.
But they're like a third to a quarter of the size of an actual ostrich.
had a stuffed rattlesnake that was just like rearing towards that strike.
Does she have a nest?
Yep.
Yep. Oh yeah, there's a handy sign and arrow. I remember seeing them look like that. Arch up like that when they were about to let you have it for getting too close. Yeah, the use of that particular word describing the worm lizard as degenerate. They don't have eyes or ears or legs. So I guess degenerate means they like evolved backwards. But those are pretty cool things. I found one of those when I was living in Florida when I was a kid. And they're like pink and purple. They're bizarre. Oh. Hey Bridge, here's the skeleton of that rock dove we were talking about that we've seen all over the city. They're so exotic. That's a big squid. You really want to go try that dino beer.
I do.
Yes, so do I. So let's do it. So it looks like that Field Museum video is going to be a little long. So we're going to do it in 2 parts, just like the shed videos. So thank you for watching the first half of our visit to the field. And remember, you can find adventure anywhere. You can really find adventure in a big, fantastic natural history museum like the Field. So get out there and find an adventure of your own. And if you want to keep up with our adventures, be sure to hit that subscribe button. Thanks. We'll see you next time.